Hey, it's Kate from the Literary Apothecary, and today we're going to be talking about The Mask of Mirrors by M.A. Carrick. So this is book 1 in the Rook and Rose series, and this is actually, M.A. Carrick is two people writing as one, and I have no idea how they do it, but it was brilliant. So I gave this book 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I'll talk about why in just a minute, but let's just get into some quick summaries so far. So in this book, we've got fantasy, we've got drama, we've got ballroom politics, we've got mystery and thriller and horror and a little bit of romance. So there's like a little bit of everything in this one book, and it was just so well done, so put together. We've got this fantasy world that's Nadezra, I have no idea how you say it, but that's my guess. And there's a soft magic system, so we get like hints of magic and there's talk of magic, but it's not really explained how the magic works or even really what the magic is. And I'm guessing maybe we'll get that a little bit more in later books, but that's what we have so far. You've got the found fantasy trope, you've got the hero Robin Hood type, and we've got this character, a Rook, who all I could think about is Zorro from The Mask of Zorro. He is like this hero Robin Hood type that wears this mask and this costume, and he's like a legend in this world, and everyone knows of the Rook, but not many people have actually seen the Rook or know who the Rook is, and that's been like one of the mysteries throughout this whole book, is who is the Rook. And we'll get to that in a minute when I talk about spoilers, but for me, the Rook, all I could picture was The Mask of Zorro. Zorro running around in his mask with his sword. And it was so much fun. It was an amazingly intricate world. There was so much detail in this world that I was amazed at how much they could pack into this world. This is a big book, but it read really, really quickly. It was engaging. Very, very basic summary without giving away spoilers. Ren is our main character, and she's a con artist who goes to Nadezra to kind of try to trick her way into one of the noble houses, but then she quickly learns that she's not the only one wearing a mask. So, like I said, I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. There was interesting characters. Every one of the characters interested me, and I wasn't bored with anyone in this book. There was a twisting and turning plot that kept my attention throughout the entire book. I wasn't bored for 1 second of this book. It was interesting throughout the whole, interesting characters, like I said. Addictive writing, I just wanted to keep reading. I just wanted more and more and more. And once I hit like that 200 pages left in the book, I didn't want to stop at all. I was like, life is getting in the way of my reading, and all I want to do is read The Mask of Mirrors. I gave this 4.5 and not 5 stars because it felt like at some parts it was a little bit drawn out and kind of veered away from our main plot, but I was still interested enough and intrigued enough that I wanted to keep reading. It didn't distract me away from the book. It just felt like, do we really need this part? So that's why I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. But really, in my mind, it's almost equivalent to 5 stars because it was so good, and I cannot wait for book 2 to see where it goes. So let's talk spoilers now. So we've got Vargo, who I liked throughout this whole book, but I wanted that redemption arc for him. I wanted to like him so much, but in the end we learn that he is like our big villain this whole time, when we thought it was Meder and Dester. And so I was like, what? Vargo is our villain, which, like, he makes such a fantastic villain because he's this mysterious guy that no one knows who he is, and he came from the bottom and he's working his way up. He's very ambitious and sneaky, and you never know what he's up to. So he makes a great villain, but I wanted that redemption arc so bad for him, but he makes a fantastic villain. So I can't wait to see in book 2 how he turns out as our villain. And then at the end, we also learned that Gray, the captain of the Vigil, which is like their police, is the Rook. And this was a surprise to me. I thought it throughout the whole book that he was the Rook, but then when it was revealed that he was the Rook, I thought, wasn't there something earlier in this book that ruled him out as a Rook? Because Ren this whole time is trying to figure out who the Rook is also, and she goes through all these different ideas, and I felt like at one point there was something that she discovered that said that Gray cannot be the Rook. So when it was revealed that he was the Rook in the end, I was so completely surprised. I'm like, wait, what? He's the Rook? This like is both what I expected and not expected at the same time, and it was a great revelation. And then he calls her Lady Rose, the Black Rose, and gives her this new mask, and that's where the Rook and the Rose, which is the name of the entire series, comes in. And I love that tie-in, and I can't wait to see where that kind of relationship and partnership goes in the later books. Poor Lieto. We lost Lieto in the dream world, and his death was so sad because he was like the one character that like had actual like good intentions, and he just wanted a better world. And I was so sad for Lieto, but you know, his death played into the rest of the story so well that it felt like it was really sad but really necessary in a weird way. And then Donaya, she surprised me so much. She is Lieto's mom and the supposed aunt of Ren, and when she just brought Ren into her family so early on, I was like, wait, she's just gonna accept her like that? Like, this seems out of character for her, and it was surprising to me. And then at the end, she really did bring her into the family, and I was like, holy cow, this is a revelation, and I can't wait to see how this plays on her character, because she knew early on that Ren wasn't everything Ren put out to be. She knew that she had money problems, and she kind of doubted that Ren was this long-lost niece that Ren claimed to be. And so she had her doubts about Ren all along, but she kind of played along with Ren to see what she could get. And then at the end, Ren kind of admitted everything, or almost everything, to Donaya and Guyana, her daughter. And Donaya is like, well, we've gone through so much already together that I'm still going to bring you into my family, even though I know you haven't been honest with us and you've been playing us this whole time. So that character really surprised me in the fact that she just brought Ren in so early on. And, you know, I love the kind of found sister play on Ren and Tess and Sledge. There's just so many different characters going on, but they're all interesting and they're all intricate to the plot. So I can't wait to see what happens in book 2, which comes out, I believe, later this year in like around November. I'm very excited for that. This, I feel like, would be a series that if we had all of the books, I would totally just binge all together. I don't tend to binge series together because I have so many books I want to read that I kind of just put the books in when I can. But this is one that I could see myself binging, and one I could actually see myself reading again. Even though it's, you know, a mystery and you don't tend to read those again because you already know how it plays out, I feel like there's so much packed into this book that I wouldn't mind reading it again. I actually want to read it again. But like I said, I've got so much to read that I can't just read it again and forget about all my other books. But one last thing in this fantastic review of this fantastic book, my favorite quote from this book is, "Trust is the thread that binds us and the hope that hangs us." And I just love that quote so much because it's so true. And it's so fitting for this book and everything that comes together in this book. So, The Mask of Mirrors by M.A. Carrick. I absolutely love this book. 4.5 out of 5 star. Fantastic read. Highly recommend it to everyone, especially if you love the mystery thriller, ballroom politics with horror wrapped in there. We didn't even talk about Andreka. So there's that too. Highly recommend this, and we're going to be having a live show with friends at the Nerdy Narratives Discord, I think in early May-ish. So I can't wait to talk to more people about this. Please go pick this up and read this. It's such a fantastic book. It's talked about a lot, but it deserves all the hype it gets. If you've read this book, let me know what you thought in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. As always, my Patreon and Discord information will be in the link description below. Keep reading, and I love you all to the moon and back. Bye.